Good day, everyone. Welcome to the third session of Freedom in Movement. I wanted to start actually today with a bit of a confession. So I was rewatching my session last week, and I noticed that partway through, I think it was like the first part of the video, I was asking you to just move with an emotion and to really notice how that emotion made you feel and what that said in your body and how that moved in your body. And I was asking you to move with that feeling and really inquire and ask about that feeling. And I was doing this myself until I had a thought in my head that I didn't look very good. I had a thought in my head that, I'm the instructor. I need to be dancing properly. Um, that I was obviously looking foolish. And these thoughts, they come up for everyone. That this is something that's a human experience. And that happened to me, and I actually noticed the moment that happened when I rewatched the video. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a point when I shift the way I'm moving, and it's very noticeable. Well, I thought it was really noticeable when I watched it. I then started doing more formalized sort of leg movements in my head at the time, thinking that was how I should be looking. I should be looking more stylized, more dancey. That I was looking foolish by just moving in the feeling. So I started to move my legs in a certain way, in a dancey way, with the intention of not looking foolish. But what actually happened was I completely missed the exercise. I was no longer feeling my emotion. I was just moving. And we can easily be just moving when we dance. That's not connecting with our body. It's not connecting with the music either. So I just thought I'd confess to you about that. And maybe if you didn't notice, rewatch it and see if you can see that point in time when that thought came into my head and told me, "You look stupid, Sarah. What are you doing?" And how I responded to that in then not feeling what my body was telling me. And actually my dance was worse. I think when I look at it felt more real when I was feeling that feeling, when I was moving that emotion. When I was trying to look good, I lost that. I lost that connection. So my confession is also a message to you, to say, when those thoughts come up in your mind, that's a human experience. Your brain is always trying to sort danger, to sort problems, to look for issues. That's what's kept us alive over the years. We have a brain that is always looking for problems. So our brain is going to tell us that things are going wrong. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's a fact. So when these thoughts come up, acknowledge them, notice them. That's okay. That's just my brain doing that. My brain tells me that. And continue to feel what you feel. Try to allow that acknowledgement of those thoughts, but not to feed into it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to take that advice that your brain is giving you. You can decide that actually what I'm meant to be doing right now is noticing how I feel, is connecting with my body, was connecting with the emotion. And whether there might be this idea of looking foolish, or that it's boring, or that it's not doing anything. All of those doubting thoughts can be there, and you can decide, you can choose, do you want to react to that doubting thought, or do you want to carry on with what you're doing? And that's up to you. In that moment last week, I reacted to that thought, and having noticed that has been really valuable for me, because now I can, it's offering me more options, more opportunity now to acknowledge that and say, okay, that's my brain saying that to me, but that doesn't mean it's true. So anyway, let's get on with the class. Okay, let's get started. I'm just going to put some music on, and we're going to have a bit of a stretch. Okay. So just start by taking a deep breath. Reaching up. And let yourself just flop down. Making sure you're bending your knees. Shoulders the other way, saying good morning to the day. And then just doing a little turn, making sure the heel comes up off the floor. That will not put pressure on your lower back then, just moving your ankles, lifting them up. I'll show you my feet quickly. Sorry, I haven't got my other camera on today. So when you're doing this, just making sure you're lifting that ankle up. Okay. And you can let your arms kind of flop with the momentum, and look behind you as well. And that gives the spine a really nice stretch. And I don't know about you, but I think I've said this before, my ankles always feel really stiff in the morning. So let's just pick our foot up and give our ankles a bit of a move. In fact, this one is so tight I can hardly stand on this foot right now. So I'm just going to take the wall. Just warming up the ankle, and then if you feel like you can today, going up on your toes, and up, 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 up. I don't know what this song is. This isn't part of what I chose for the playlist. Okay, if you have trouble doing that, that's a little workout for your ankles and your feet and your calves. But if you have trouble doing that, just stick with the pedaling motion. Oh, this is quite a funky tune. I must have picked it at some point. Leaning forward, stretching it. I'm going to do it this way so you can see. So the back foot is in line. And you're not taking your knee over the front foot. If you need to widen your stance to increase the stretch, you can. And the other foot. Okay. Ooh, this is getting me moving, this music this morning. But I am going to change it because what I'd like to do now, well, we'll keep it on, we'll keep it on. What I'd like to do now is just to move ourselves onto the floor. And we're just going to have a bit of a warm up, so I'm just going to move my camera a little. See my messy desk. Hopefully that's okay. Alright, so coming down to the floor. So you might want to put a mat down. My mat's broken, so I need to get a new one. So I'm not going to use one, but we're going to lay down on the floor. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to think about each movement. First of all, just check in with your body. In fact, I am going to change this music because it's a little bit too jazzy for what I had planned. Now, what was the one I wanted to use? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to just do a few minutes here. So laying on your back. And check in with yourself as you're laying here. Your feet are in line with your hips. Just rested. And just notice your lower back. And if there's any gap here underneath your back, if there's any gap here, just allow that to relax down. Sometimes when we hold a lot of tension in our back, we find that we can be a bit like this. So taking a deep breath, and now actually pushing the arch of your back into the floor, and notice how that feels. And then retract. And pushing down into the floor again. And allowing that to rest. One more time, pushing. And allowing it to rest. Okay, so now we're going to make this a little bit harder and just bring our legs up to tabletop. Just be very careful here. If you do have any problems with your back, and anyway, even if you don't, making sure you're really engaging your core. What you don't want to happen is for this gap to get bigger as you bring your legs up. Okay? So we don't want it pushed into the ground like we just did, but we don't want it up high either. We want it just in that neutral position, held together. So notice how you have to engage this muscle to lift your leg. And if just lifting one leg is enough, that's level 1. And you can swap legs for level 2. And just notice when you do this, how there's a shift in your weight against the floor. And if you want to take this a level higher, you bring both legs up. And just notice as you're holding your legs, how you're using that muscle here in your core and reaching up
and flex. And back. Reaching up and flex. Point and back. And notice your body as you do this. Really put your focus into what's happening in your body. This is about strengthening your awareness, where you're feeling the tension. Check in and notice that your lower back isn't lifting away from that neutral position. As I say, if this is quite hard for you, you can take it back a step. To one leg. And just doing this in your own time, whichever level works for you. Noticing those feelings in your feet, in your legs, in your stomach, in your back. Carry on, my alarm is going off on my phone. Sorry about that. Okay. So as you're doing this exercise, remember noticing the back, keeping that back at neutral, engaging that core strength. Take your attention to your the tops of your toes when you're pointing upwards. And then as you flex, your attention comes to the sole of your foot, the heel of your foot, pushing upwards into the ceiling. Even if it's starting to feel quite hard, just notice any resistance from the body. Check in. If you do need to take a rest, you can lower your feet back down. Just give your back a little massage. Bring your legs in. And if you want to be a little bit more free and not follow the structure, you can do whatever you want when you're up here with your feet. Just notice how your feet feel, how your legs feel, Where is the tension? You can use both legs at the same time, or one, or even pedal them. Just feeling your awareness into the tips of your feet, the tips of your toes, noticing where you feel any pressure. Keep going. Take it down a step if you need to. Keep going if you can. Remembering to keep that engagement in your core, that core strength. And coming to the end now. Bring this to your last round. And when you're done, just coming to sit on the floor. Okay. So now we're a bit warmed up. Let's just stretch off our legs. So just kind of sit with your legs out as much as you can. You might be able to take them right back. You might struggle just to put them down. So wherever you are, just giving your legs a little loosen off, making sure your back is nice and tall. So just give yourself a little shake off, and sitting on the forgotten the name of the bone now, but there's sort of two bones. I don't know if anyone's ever been horse riding. You tend to sit on those bones for horse riding. So it's kind of a representation of a good posture when your back is all in line. You'll feel a couple of bones that you're sat on. So just kind of position yourself into a nice tall posture. Think about there being a pull from the top of the head. Your shoulders are down, and just kind of bringing yourself forward as much as you can into a stretch so that you can feel a stretch there in your legs, and then over to one leg, just taking it as gently as you need to. Okay, and now I want you just to sit for a moment, however is comfortable for you. So that might be cross-legged, it might be sort of sat on your knees, whatever feels comfortable to you. But I'd like you to stay on the floor for now if you can. If you really are having trouble on the floor, then you could do this in a chair, but I want you to close your eyes and notice where your weight is on the floor. And bringing your attention now wider than the weight and the pressure on the floor, and notice what muscles are being used to hold you up right now. Where is your body engaged to keep you sat in this position? Take a moment to play with that. Notice, what if I was to relax this little bit here? Does that shift or change how I'm holding myself? Engaging that again, and perhaps finding somewhere else to just let go, and just see how you can find that connection with your body. Noticing what muscles are being used, what muscles aren't being used. playing with that awareness to see where can I just relax this off, and how does that then sit? What's that like? Just playing with those subtle movements. You wouldn't notice it probably just by looking at me, but there are times when I'm just relaxing a muscle and just noticing how I then slightly sink into that, and then I'm able to engage that muscle again. So coming back to the muscle relaxation exercise that I left for you in the course last week, this is another way of becoming in touch with the tension and the use of muscles in your body. I'm going to put a couple of tracks into the course as well, chosen pieces of music that you can practice this with. So just sitting here for a moment this morning and just noticing your body, beginning to tune in to where you feel your body is holding you up today. How is your body working for you today? And I'm going to leave you with this exercise, and when you feel ready to come back into the room, do so and start your day. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.